And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for being here. I won't lie. 105.3 The Fan is doing a terrible job at advertising this. They'll mention it here or there. They'll put out a tweet that ain't got nobody's name on it for real. But listen, man. I know the tweet says Brian and Zach and Bobby will be doing Draft 101 at the station and all that. And listen, but Voch gonna be there too. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want all that good Whataburger to go to waste. I'm not, Brian. I say this humbly, respectfully. I got a good little viewership. I got a cool little audience. My people can come too. Tag my name in the post.
Hey, tonight the After Dark show. Mm-hmm. Blake Elliott, who's one of the hosts on After Dark, says, "Hey, who all is going to be on the draft show? Because would you like me to show you the text?
You wouldn't even know.
I'll show you the text. Just hang on there. Hang on.
We're waiting.
Hey, just here we go. Right here.
Yeah.
Just you, Zach, and Bob on Draft 101. Answer. Kyle Yeomans, Voch Lombardi, Tommy Yarish, Nick Harris, Bobby Belt, Zach Wolchuk, and me, Brian Broaddus. I told him, I go, start promoting.
What are they doing? What are these people doing? Hey, man, come out and get some Whataburger, dog. Come out and shake hands with the entire draft show crew, including me. Shake my hand, sir. I got a new outfit and everything. I got 4 new outfits for this in 3 days of the draft. Hey, why don't you tap in? Yeah, I mean, why don't you tap in with us? I think it's gonna doors open at 6:45. Okay?
They do.
So 4131 North Central Express.
Yeah, it's a big tall building. It's the Odyssey. We're in a big tall building, but the floor where we're going to meet is on the first floor. So you go into the building, take a right, and you'll see everybody lined up. Yeah. But yeah, there's parking underneath the building there. So it's you just go right into the building, into the parking area. You can park, and there's parking all the way around on the back side of it too. So don't get intimidated and just come on in, follow everybody, and then doors open at 6:45. I think I have a Rangers game, so I'll be down there. Like at 6:20, 6:30 is when I'll be. Yeah. So when the doors open, I'll be down there to kind of welcome you guys in.
Damn, 105.3 The Fan. But yeah, y'all come on in, tap in with us. Top of the morning with you. Man, Brian, I got some questions for you, man. If you ain't doing nothing else, if you don't mind, man, I just got a couple of questions.
I hope I have some questions back for you.
I know that you've been building your stack.
Oh God, don't go here.
I know you're not done with it.
I'm not.
It's all right.
God, it's getting hard.
It's all right. Brian, everybody want to know about the Will Johnson thing, man. And we was like, hey, man, we'll see if he run. We'll see if he don't run.
How fast he run?
He didn't run. He ain't run, Brian. And I believe I saw somebody say that he had an above average day doing drills and
shuttles.
His shuttle, it was a 4.33, which I've seen offensive linemen run them.
Was it like in the 13th percentile for that position?
Something like that. You know what I mean? So, man, Brian,
I'm telling you, man. Hey,
I eventually put him 32nd on my stack, Brian, bro. That's where I got
25. 25.
Okay.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. And you know what? I wasn't gonna move. If he ran 4.31, I was gonna be so happy for the kid.
Sure.
He didn't run. And that's cool. That's cool. You know why? Voch, let me tell you something. I've been on a couple different platforms. I was on with the Giants this morning. I was on Giants.com. I was Giant. It's so hard. You're sitting there talking about.
What you say to him, Brian? What you say?
I was sitting there going, God, I wish I had the 3rd pick in this draft.
Boy, they did their job, Brian Brothers. They did a great job losing games.
I was like, I was sitting there going, God, I go, all right, with the third pick, there's a lot of ways we could go here. I'm talking about Hunter. I'm talking about
Carter. They go quarterback if they want to. They can go Genty for real.
I'm talking about all these guys, and they're like, so what do you think that? and I'm going, well, I'm down behind you. I'm 9 spots behind you, but this is what I would do if I was the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I was just hamming it up today.
Yeah.
But no, I was the whole thing with this Will Johnson thing. I wasn't gonna move him, but I was happy for him. I wanted to see that, and I just wanted to see him run. But what I was talking about was really that I was looking through Dane Brugler's The Beast.
Yes, sir.
And I just was looking at certain players. I was just curious about some workouts and stuff. Watch, it was alarming. How many players not only didn't work out at the combine fully, but how many of the same kids didn't do the workout at their pro day? It's usually, if you don't work out at the combine, we'll catch you at the pro day.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And there were a lot of empty spaces and usually you would think, oh, kid doesn't want to bench. Kid doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
Nah, there are players that didn't run 40s. There's players that didn't do 20 shuttles. There's players that didn't do broad jump, vertical jump. There's people that they're going to be drafted fairly high,
sure,
and not have complete workouts. And for a guy who used to live, my boss Ron Wolf was like, Brian, we need to get that shuttle time. We need to get that vertical time. We need to get that. We need to get that, because that was our metrics back in the 90s. That was our metrics. Those workouts were our metrics, filling in all those numbers so we could compare them to other players from days gone by. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time where I looked through players and saw massive amounts of information not even there. Yeah. And you know what? We kick these teams' ass. Mm-hmm. You even said it. We need to make a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Some teams,
they suck at it.
They suck at drafting.
Yeah.
And you know what, Voch? It's like taking $1,000 and buying a stock and knowing nothing about the company.
You just bank. You just guessing and hoping. Yeah.
I'm kicking teams' asses for not drafting well.
Yeah.
And I think, it can't be that hard. Yeah. Hell, I did it for 13 years. I ran a draft. You don't let me have the numbers.
Sure.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And I think if we wonder why teams suck at drafting, we might point back one day to the lack of information these teams have on these players when it comes to if a kid, and I'm not picking on Will Johnson here, but a kid realizes he's not going to run a good 40 time and he feels like that he might be deficient and slow and he just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Then he's not going to do it. But then I draft the kid and I'm like, wait a minute. Now people are probably jumping on our comments saying, well, Dan Broadus, you could look at the miles per hour. You could look at the numbers. You can, okay. Maybe but I haven't now. I can't, But to me, when a kid looks slow on tape or not fast, and I don't get a 40 time, then I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to take this player. I'm not. Because I'm trying not to make a mistake.
Sure.
See, the Cowboys very well could draft Will Johnson.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Will Johnson gets taken deep a couple of times in the game. Somebody runs by him. Somebody runs by him again. We're at training camp and we're watching guys just run by him. Yeah. And he's not turning and it's not even the shuttle. We don't see lateral agility and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to sit there and go, Oh God, he had a rough day today on 1-on-1.
Sure.
Tolbert ran by him. Yeah, Tolbert ran by him. Turpin ran by him. And so now we're sitting there and we're wondering, well, what didn't we see this? Did we? Well, yeah, we might have saw it, but maybe the confirmation of it was having a 40 time on a kid.
Sure.
And now we're asking these teams to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on these players and not have complete information on them. That's to me, that's mind-boggling. I swear it's like buying a damn stock and you're saying, boy, the stock is going to go up. But wait a minute, I don't know anything about the company, but I'm going to buy it anyway. These kids have figured it out. They figured it out. They don't have to work out. And they're going to make these teams just look at their medical and their film to figure out if they can really play or not. And any question you might have about lateral agility or explosiveness or any of that is totally out the window now, because kids have figured out, agents have told them, hey, Will, you don't have to run a 40. Yeah. You don't have to run a 40 here. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We won't run the 40. I bet you there were a lot of scouts that went to Ann Arbor, Michigan for that workout. And they're going, we got a shuttle and a vertical
and some drills.
We came all the way from Ann Arbor for this. Yeah. Okay. And you're asking these teams to do a lot now. You really are. And maybe there's a side of me that that was a bad pick. That's a bad draft. Maybe they didn't have all the information they needed. I'm not sticking up for the scouts and player personnel guys, but man, this job just became a lot harder to gauge. Yeah.
And man, Brian, you want to hit on all your first round picks?
All of them.
But 12th overall gives you an opportunity to do something a little more special than normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity to do something a little special. Like if I always like to use the Raiders, right? The Raiders can miss on like Leatherwood or something. That's all right. But if they miss on Tyree Wilson up in that top 5, that's devastating, because you have an opportunity to get a guy that can change your organization.
Right.
Will Johnson may be a fine player. And to be fair, Will Johnson fits our system kind of cool. If we gonna run some zone,
I think he's gonna be fine. I'm just saying it's different now.
But we have an opportunity. Yep.
The rules are different for us now.
Yeah.
The rules are different than what we've. Would you call? How would you characterize Diggs' speed overall?
I don't think Trey is a blazer. I think length helps when he's trailing people. I think his ability to kind of see it in front of him helps him, kind of be ahead
the reactions,
a little bit. Yeah, but I don't think Diggs is particularly fast guy. I don't think he's blazer guy.
Yeah. You didn't get a 40 on him,
Mm-hmm.
But he's a second round pick.
Sure.
He was at 60. He wasn't at 12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's what
even at 17, even taking Diggs at 17 ain't like taking Will Johnson at 12. Understood. I understand, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I have the utmost, I think that Will Johnson's got some really, really good characteristics. I think his length, his size, I think there's some quality things about him as a corner. There's some questions I have about him, but I know in my mind, I've got him as the 25th best player in this draft. And I guarantee you, when you and I started this process in January, doing these shows every day, talking about this stuff, he was a guy that was talked about in the top 5. And he still might go 15, 16, something like that. Fine. But in my mind, I can't put him any higher than these guys. I can't put him any higher than the guys I kind of know about to have a little bit better. I can't make a complete evaluation of him without some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at right now. You were gambling, in my opinion. You were gambling if you take Will Johnson at 12. You're gambling. His his workout. They they talk about the workout, the short. If his short shuttle numbers were in the 3.99, 3.95, that kind of thing. Now at 6'2", that's probably going to be pretty hard for him to do. But he was in the 13th percentile when it came to change of direction stuff.
Yeah.
That's a tall, long guy. And that it's hard for them to maybe have that kind of quickness.
Yeah.
But that's how he moves.
That sounds good at 44. That sounds good at 44, right?
I don't know how you take that at 12. I just don't.
Yes,
I don't. And if they do, you know what? Good for them. If they feel like that they have enough information on this guy, good for them. If that's the case, because as we all know, they don't give a rat's ass what you and I think.
Yeah.
But I'll bring that up if he's selected. Like, wow, they must have a lot of confidence in his tape to take him really without the measurables and stuff, that some of the others ahead of him have.
Brian, I imagine your top 5 looks something like Hunter, Carter, Genty, Graham, McMillon, I assume.
I went Hunter, Genty,
there you go.
Carter. I went Ward.
Okay.
McMillon at 5.
Okay.
Graham at 6.
That's fair. I also have Tet McMillon as my 5th overall player, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he be there at 12? If he's the 5th best player in this draft, why would he be there at 12, Brian? I brought this up on the draft show the other day.
Yeah.
And I was telling my Cowboy brothers and sisters, beloved Cowboy brothers and sisters, I say, hey, man, I know we talk about McMillon a bunch, but just as much as y'all have come to the realization Genty ain't going to be there, because he's a top 3 player, so why would he be there at 12?
Yeah.
I think if you ask everybody at the draft show table, I wouldn't ask, Kuiper and McShay and them boys, because they line our faces. But Tet McMillon, Brian brothers, I'd imagine nobody got him past 8 at least. Why would he be there at 12, Brian? Should we be prepared for the idea that he's not there?
I think you should. I think the same things that we kind of thought about in with Genty as being one of the best players. If McMillon was, say, in the low 4.4s running, if he, then I think there would be no question that he would be. But you got to think about the Raiders. The Raiders brought in Shedeur Sanders today. They're visiting with him. I kind of feel like that if you're and this is another one that's pretty interesting to me. And I'm sorry, I'll get to your question, but
please.
these things happen in my brains.
Hell yeah.
I was with the Giants people today.
Genius.
And the they're going to work out Sanders they're going to work out a private workout for Sanders on Thursday.
Yeah.
In Boulder. Let me just say this real quick.
Hell yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Please.
I think it's brilliant.
I bet it will be, because you're a genius.
No. I'm saying I think it's brilliant that the Giants are doing this.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I got you. Go ahead.
They're creating. Yeah. They're creating. They could be creating the illusion
that they want.
That they want him. That they really, really, really want him. And what you do then, all of a sudden, now it makes people interested. Well, maybe somebody else might be interested. Maybe the Saints might be interested. Maybe. To me, I got the impression talking to Giants people today that Hunter and Carter were the 2 picks potentially. I got that. Now I'm trying to kind of maybe tie this in with McMillon, because talking to Giants people, they love McMillon too. Yeah. They love McMillon, but the Hunter's a possibility at wide receiver. They asked me this question, like, of Carter and Hunter, who would you fear more as a Cowboy guy?
I'm fearing Hunter, probably.
I said Hunter.
Yeah.
I said Hunter. I said Carter, I'll figure out a way to scheme around him.
Hunter and Neighbors is just stupid.
I started talking about how Cincinnati operates with Joe Burrow, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like you got these guys and they're scoring points and they're, you know, the receivers are just so good.
Yeah.
But I said the guy that scares the hell out of me as a guy that follows the Cowboys is Hunter.
Yeah.
I go, you are taking my number one player is what you're doing. You're taking my guy. But I think what they're doing with this, and man, I just didn't get the vibe. I think they were talking about, they were feeling okay with their quarterbacks. I know with Wilson and,
Sure.
and you know, our guy, Jameis,
Yeah.
but it didn't seem like to me, they were talking about, well, what quarterbacks you have in the second round?
Yeah.
What's your second round? And I was talking about Howard and, you know, this, that, and the other. And so, but to my point, McMillon should be in the conversation with these guys that we're talking about right now. He should be. He's that type of player. He could bring that type of play to a team. Like Hunter can bring big time play ability to the Giants. McMillon can bring that to the Cowboys too. The question that somebody asked me today, and this I thought was a really, really, really good question.
What did he say?
Can Dak play with a receiver? And this guy loves Golden.
Sure.
This guy loves Golden. He goes, can Dak really play with a guy like McMillon?
Sure he can.
And he said it in a way that he had a chance to throw the ball to Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
And it's that 50-50, go get it. Do you separate kind of a thing?
Brilliant. So, Brian, let's talk about this because I've actually used this exact talking point in a way to justify taking
McMillon.
Because Dak wasn't the passer that he needed to be.
Back then he was.
When Dez was healthy.
Right.
So now Dak is a guy that can do that.
Sure.
But the latest example of a guy that could be physical jump ball guy was Michael Gallup. That ain't necessarily Michael Gallup's game for real, but that's the role that he played because there was nobody else to do it.
Yeah.
Brian, Dak is a much more advanced passer now than he's ever been.
I agree.
I imagine that there's a role for Tet McMillon here to be a tall, long catch radius jump ball guy.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a role here. Look, if you tired of Dak missing a deep ball by a couple of inches, well, Tet adds a whole foot of deep ball ability for you.
Mm-hmm.
A whole foot for you. Where we'll look at Turpin and be like, damn, boy, Turpin, if Turpin was a couple inches taller, he'd have caught that. Just copy and paste Tet McMillon right over Turpin and tell me that Tet wouldn't be able to catch that pass. And Cowboy fans, this is why I use this against him, Brian. If Dak is really as bad as you say he is, there's not a better bad ball catcher than Tet McMillon.
Kid can go get it. See, this, I just thought it was interesting because he brought up the Dez, and I did exactly what you said. I said, well, doesn't Dak throw the ball better? Now, I'm a fan of Golden. I'm also a fan of Ibuka. I'm also a fan of Burton, too. But we've had discussions, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, and I apologize to folks that are listening if you feel that way. I feel like, though, that to me, and you're right, McMillon shouldn't be there. Yeah. He shouldn't. He shouldn't be there. This guy is in my opinion, he's one of the best top. Now, I saw a redraft. Want a redraft. It was if every player in college football was available to be drafted. So Arch Manning went first overall, right?
Sure.
So every player. Guess who the Cowboys took at 12?
It wouldn't happen to be McMillon, I would.
It's Tet McMillon. Yeah. It was
so McMillon in all of college football is the 12th guy. So now take away all the juniors and sophomores and fantastic freshmen. And it's just him and just the people in this draft.
Everybody, and they had all the top players in the country.
He's the top 5 guy, Brian Bryce. He's top 5 guy.
Yeah, but they said, well, Dallas. Put him at Dallas with all the guys that were available, with all the guys that, and I wish I would have brought this. I wish I would have brought this up sooner. But they said, okay, Arch Manning. And then they went through and there was an edge and there's this and that. And, you still got Genties up there and, you still got these guys.
Yeah.
But Tet McMillon ended up at Dallas at 12 is what it was. He shouldn't be there. And maybe
he won't.
Maybe the wild card of the Raiders. Might be the Raiders could pick anybody, Voch.
Anybody.
The Raiders could pick anybody. They're scary that way.
O-line, corner, wide receiver, quarter. I think they could pick quarterback, Brian. Geno Smith not a long-term out. I think they could pick quarterback.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think the thing, with working out, with going out like the Giants doing that with Sanders, to me, if they even if they don't intend taking them, they've created the illusion that they might.
They will. Somebody gonna trade up to Cleveland, huh? That what you think? Somebody gonna jump?
I don't know, man. It is interesting that maybe somebody would say, well, hey, you want to come? How bad do you really want this quarterback? Maybe the Giants say, well, we're kind of debating on. Yeah. You're creating that.
Sure.
Maybe the Giants find a way to bail out of there, and somebody wants to come take that quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know. But to your point, I know I went rambling. My apologies. Tet McMillon is one of the top 5 players in this draft, and he probably shouldn't be there. And if he's there, you got to sure take it. I ended up with Golden, by the way, at 16 on my board.
That's all right.
And I have 15 first-round grades. I have 15 first-round grades.
That's all right. Brian, man, boy, the Cowboys just need weapons, man. I mean, that's what they're calling it. You know what I'm saying? They say the Cowboys need weapons on offense, man. And, maybe I'm out on the island here by myself, Brian, bro. Just looking at my board here.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren is technically a weapon.
He's a weapon.
I think other people got him a little higher than I do. I got him as my 21st player, Brian. And that's all right.
18 on my board.
We're on the same page here.
Yeah.
But he is a weapon. I think he's a damn good weapon. And I think if he's on your team, you'll just probably, run just 12 and, 22, and you'll just get busy like that. And that'll be your weapons packages. Now, Brian, you don't think the Dallas Cowboys, and listen, man, the Cowboys can tell us that who they are feeling, who they not feeling, but at the end of the day, boy, nobody knew Bergeron was on the radar, you know what I'm saying, until Will McClay came out on the video and talking about it, Brian.
Oh, Laporta. I'll never forget Todd Archer. Todd Archer, we're literally getting ready to go on at the Star, and Archer goes, keep alert. Matt Laporta from Iowa has got a chance to be drafted here.
Damn.
And I was like, really? I go, what round? Oh, first round. He's got a chance.
They would have hit on that one.
Yeah, they would have.
Better than school, mate.
But that's that. The thought about Warren being here, shouldn't discount it. Shouldn't discount it. They might be okie doking all of us bringing all those wide receivers. And by the way, there were 25 players that visited. I'm 7 short of all the names. I'm 7 short, and I'm going to keep working, but I'm getting roadblocked a lot. But there's 7 more names that were part of the 30 visits.
Yeah.
That we do not know about.
You don't normally get roadblocked like that, because I feel like in normal years we'll have the list by now. Brian, why you think they're a little more secretive than, with this one? And also, Brian, if they're so secretive with the rest of this list, I'm not saying ignore, but should we just not think as much about the guys that publicly
these 7 guys that I don't know now terrify me. And I mean, terrify me that I would like to know who they are. I'd like to know who those guys are. I really would. I think it's great that I know. I had a deal the other day, Voch, one of the weekend Twitters. The guy tried to take a scenario that you and I talked about where they tried to wipe us out. They tried to wipe us out with McMillon being gone, Hampton being gone, Genty being gone.
Yeah.
They tried to wipe us out.
Yeah.
They tried to wipe everybody out that they might take at 12. But they didn't. Nobody in the 12 to the 11 picked Minbao.
And I would take Minbao. And I actually had it written down here to ask you about Minbao. If that's the situation, I told him I'll take Booker, Minbao, and Simmons. I would go offensive line at that point.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I love Simmons. Simmons is my 7th best player on my board.
Yeah.
So, but Minbao is 11. So I would look at that possibility. Yeah. Campbell was gone, but they didn't take Minbao. And I went, I take him.
13 for me, by the way. 13th overall for me. Yep,
yeah. You can't. I don't think Dallas can get wiped out in the first round. Okay. I don't think they can. I mean, you could try and take all those wide receivers or take all the runners. They'll just pick an offensive lineman. Sure. They might pick, it might be the best offensive lineman in the draft if things work out. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Brian, do you think, because Simmons wasn't in that conversation, but Minbao and Banks were, do you think they're looking at Minbao and Banks as right guards that could possibly be right tackles, but they're not looking at Josh because Josh ain't got a guard bone in his body?
It's funny. I've got a whole new group of Kansas City Chief followers because of how I talk about Simmons. Yeah. They think that Simmons is going to get all the way to them at 31.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I've got all these Kansas City fans that are like, this Brian Broaddus, man, he's on Simmons. He's hearing this about the medical. He's talking to people. He's respected. You know, I'm checking all these Kansas City. These people probably follow me for the draft, and they'll get your money. They'll dump me when the draft's over.
Yeah.
But they all like the fact that I'm talking about Simmons because somehow, some way, they think that Simmons is going to get to them at 31.
Yeah,
I don't see how it happens, but hey, good luck, Kansas City Chief fans. If that's your dream, live the dream. Go for it.
Yeah. Shouts out to him. But
I don't think you can. I don't think you can hurt the Cowboys at 12. I don't think you can.
To your point, though, Brian, I wouldn't have a problem with taking Mimbu. I would imagine Banks would maybe be a trade back guy for them, and Banks kind of fell down the rankings a little bit. But in terms of like wiped out type of guy, you can't wipe us out. The only thing that'll make me nervous is if they like Michael Williams and Will Johnson. And I'd imagine Will Johnson not running kind of did damage to everybody's board, I would say. You know what I'm saying? So
I would hope that if you take Will Johnson, my hope is, and if they say it, if they take him, I'm going to say I hope they have every bit of information they need on him.
Yeah.
And I'll move on with the draft. I will. He is a good player. As I said, he's the 25th best player on my board. Banks, I have at 21. Michael Williams, 22.
Yeah.
Will Johnson, 25. That's kind of where I'm at right now with those guys.
Yeah. Well, Brian, man, I mean, we gonna see what the business is, man. We are right around the corner, and I got a 13-hour weekend with you. So I'm very much so looking forward to it. I'm going to travel to Houston to go see K. Lamar, you know what I'm saying, on the 23rd. And then I'm going to rush back on the 24th, 25th, 26th to do that work with y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited, man. Kendrick Lamar is Me and you talked about it, and you assumed that Kendrick would beat Drake in the battle a year ago. It's a year later now. Kendrick beat the hell out of Drake, Brian. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So you was absolutely right on that. So you hit on that pick, sir.
Well, thank you. Kendrick Lamar seems like he's got some toughness to him, right? He's got some toughness to him. He got some toughness to him.
He's much tougher than Drake. Even though he's small, he's much tougher than Drake. So your instincts serve you perfectly right there, Brian, bro. So shouts out to you.
Thank you.
Draft 101. This ain't like radio where you may have missed the first part of the show and you came in on the middle and the end or something, so I ain't got to re-promo it because you probably saw it at the beginning. But check out my Twitter, man. Get the address from my Twitter. We would love to see you. We would love to shake hands with you if you need a hug, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But come on through, man. yeah, go hug Brian. Come through and get some Whataburger. It's free. It's free. You ain't got to pay nothing. And we'll love to see you. The draft show crew is all there to shake hand and love on you, okay?
Yeah.
VOCHLONBARDI BRYN Bros. I would not be on the draft show tomorrow, but watch it anyway. You should watch all the draft shows whether I'm on it or not. But I ain't on it, so do your thing, all right? Do your thing. Y'all hold it down, man. Until next time, we love you. Crown.